Hello and welcome back to Love and Hope Can LLC. I appreciate it. As promised, I told you I was going to come back and cover the rest of the information that I had as it pertains to keeping the faith through it all. I left off and we were talking about disconnection day before yesterday, and this if you're dealing with what seems like these types of situations and disconnection that we left off with, and now I want to talk about rejection and having to deal with rejection, whether it's your own feelings of rejection when it comes to just you personally and feeling like, you are being rejected because of whatever situations you're going through. And I say that as it pertains to maybe a relationship, maybe a working relationship, maybe relationship with your family, a relationship with your church, a relationship with just maybe a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever it may be. I know at times, a lot of people, when it comes to certain times of the year, a lot of people deal with what is called anxiety, depression, but also rejection is very real, especially when you are in social groups or the lack thereof, and people are uh, aggressively trying to move past you, and maybe you have considered yourself and feel like you have put yourself or put the work out there to be considered for a promotion on the job or whatever it may be. And all of a sudden, boom, it hits you where you were denied or you were rejected. What does that mean? What does that do? In a lot of cases, what it might do is cause you to lose your esteem or your confidence for yourself. It may cause you to just withdraw. It may cause you to get depressed where you lay in the bed, and or even self doubt. Self doubt can approach and can sneak in there as well. But I'm saying to you today, that's not anything that you really want to deal with. Rejection is somebody else's opinion or thought, and put yourself in a winning space to where begin to put yourself in a winning space to the point to where you don't really have to rely on other people. Begin to carve out your space. Begin to carve out what you think you deserve. It may take you a couple of months. It may take you maybe a year or two to be able to go back. And if the job is telling you, hey, we cannot consider you for this because you don't have the education for it or you don't have this, and it's something you want to pursue, if you want to go back and go get your education, you feel like you can do it, or can you, the job that you're doing, or maybe your passion is doing something else, can you carve it out for yourself and create your own space, meaning your own business, and do even more? And you become the boss, you become the CEO, you become that person. Even though somebody rejects you, I've been rejected a couple of times in my life. It's not a good feeling. But guess what? I've done better. I've prepared myself. I've done the work. I've done the research. Not in all cases, but in some cases that were important to me and my family, I did my best at what I could do. And if that means, doing X, Y, and Z, I did X, Y, and Z, with respect to myself and respect to person. Secondly, humiliation. A lot of times, I've been talking to a couple of people, not just over the last couple years, I can say, and where people have fell back and has have become recluse because they have been humiliated in situations where, or just humiliated or embarrassed by something. Um, it's very hard to embarrass me, or put enough stock in another person to feel like they are able and readily to try to humiliate me and me respond in such a way that will cause me to lose my mind. First of all, I don't give that much stock to people and have people have that much control over my life. When you get humiliated, it's because you have either been in a trusting relationship or you trusted a person more than they trusted or respected you. Humiliation, um, and it may not be at the hands of anybody else. Maybe you feel like you humiliated yourself because you went out there and you reached for something, and maybe you failed, but that's okay. You get back up and you try. You never allow a situation or the lack thereof to get you to where you don't ever go back and do it again or improve on what it is that has you in the situation of feeling like you're humiliated or you're rejected. When people put words or verbs or pronouns and all of these things on you, and they want to put you in a box to where they feel you need to be, or even when you put yourself there, you have to begin to say to yourself, I am so much better than that. I went after something I wanted. I I didn't quite make it, but check out the things that you did correctly and improve on the correctly part and keep moving. And then you put over here in a little tiny space, this is what it felt like to feel this, so you won't have to come back and feel it again. There's always a way to be able to improve on the situation that you need to improve on. And that situation can just be yourself, the way that you speak to yourself. Again, I have a podcast. What are you saying to yourself? If you're saying to yourself that I'm not worthy, I'm not worth it, I'm not this, I'm dumb, I'm stupid, I don't have this degree, I don't da da da. Everything is so what you don't have versus what you have and what you can improve on. Take the road less traveled. There's absolutely nothing wrong with taking the road less traveled. Now, if you're dealing with what seems like disrespect, and a lot of times, and what I'm seeing now, and what I see a lot of on the social media stuff, and it almost turns my stomach, is the lack of respect that people have for themselves. I look at how people are ready to cut the camera on and press the record and act a complete fool for views and likes. Now, if that's what you do, that's what you do. That's not something that I'm willing to do. We could talk about controversial subjects and all of those types of things, but I was just looking at, and I bought early on one of the podcasts that was talking about a young girl who was, I think, about 12 years old. Um, that she knew not to turn the camera on. Some guy wanted her to show her private parts and all of these types of stuff. And maybe she was in a space to where she wasn't feeling that loved or liked, or felt like he's going to like her more if she did what he wanted to do. So she sent her nudes out with her face. That's something that she's going to have to deal with. And hopefully it didn't pass completely to phone. And maybe at some point they were able to get stuff back. But in terms of disrespect, for yourself, that's number one. Making sure that when you deal with people, that people have high regard or respect for you. And if they don't, you know that you really can't deal with that individual and you really don't want to be around them. You understand? So when I say disrespect, I've been served a lot of disrespect on my different jobs that I've had, but I didn't tolerate it. I didn't tolerate it. So that made me the aggressor. That made me the angry black woman. That made me the person that thought she was better than everybody else, or whatever else somebody else was feeling. Didn't make me no difference. The bottom line is, I don't tolerate disrespect, and you're not going to disrespect me no matter what position you hold within this company. Um, and I found a lot of people, not a lot, but more than usual, usually join the group of the negativity, the negative group, and want to keep you in a place or a space that is only carved out for you. In other words, they want to regulate you to something that you're not willing to be regulated to. So it depends on how much respect and disrespect that you're going to tolerate. Do you tell people, no, you can kick rocks, or you can kiss my behind, or whatever you want to say, but you don't allow people to disrespect you. I don't care how much money you make in this world, whether you're in poor or you're broke. I don't want to say poor, I want to say broke, meaning financially, or whether you're making a couple of 100,000 or less there and or less, or if you're a millionaire. I will not allow you to demonstrate disrespect in my space or towards other people that I care for. That's a no-no. And I suggest anybody that's listening to me right now that's dealing with disrespect, you need to step up and respect yourself enough not to allow another person to disrespect you. Another one is if you're dealing with what seems like powerlessness. Okay. Um, and I say that because a lot of people feel like they are powerless in situation as it pertains to their work, as it pertains to relationships, particularly to domestic violence. And domestic violence can be a verbal situation, it could be a sexual situation, it could be a financial abusive situation. It could be a situation in any way that you find that you lack power. How do you begin to turn those things around? You get power by having your own money, by having what you need to do to be able to make the decisions for yourself. And I'm not necessarily saying that you have to have money to make the situation better. Of course, money doesn't hurt, but you have to have common sense. If you're in a situation and you feel like you're in total danger and you have one opportunity to be able to change that situation, my God, do it. My God, goodness gracious, I want you to do it. Okay? Get away from the situation. If you have children, I don't care if you are a female or a male, because females can be just as violent as males can. Okay? They really can. And it's unheard, it's not as heard of as a male dominating a woman, but vice versa, because a lot of men don't speak up on it. But if you are in a situation, know of somebody in a situation, and they're powerless to the fact that they can't do for themselves, then y'all need to devise a plan or do whatever you need to do and make it help or make it work. Or even if that's in a work situation, in any situation, who wants to live their days and feeling like they are not living their best life, or doing the best you can daily? And when you have an off day, and when that off day comes, and sometimes you just want to rest. Nobody has to keep putting up with just negativity all 24 hours of a day, 365 days of the year. Get out of the situation. Do what you can. Get out of the situation. Lastly, one of the words that came to me as well, if you're dealing with ignorance. Yes, I said ignorance. You have so many people who feel like, well, let me say this, let me preference this in terms of people that lack information, credible sources, fact, or dealing with facts, and you deal with ignorant people. I see a lot of this on the social media, and people take what it is, what somebody else says, as golden because they like that person, and they fail to do the research on their own, and they feel like that because this person said what it said, and because they may have been right one time out of 10, well, and because it supports their argument or their thinking, they're going to take that as gold. And hey, it is what it is. But I noticed that we are slowly but surely, and no, I'll say it's a little bit past slowly, that we're moving away from facts and dealing with facts. It's all out of emotion that people are dealing with. And the ignorant part of it is because a lot of people follow blindly behind individuals, dangerous individuals, when it comes to certain things. A lot of things are public in terms of the woman's right to choose. You have people just not ever dealt with situations, and you want to put themselves into other people's um, mindset in their situation, in their household. Um, And in some cases, it deems, especially if a person is being abused violently or whatever it could be, verbally, whatever. But I say for those of you who are dealing with lack of information, to research, do research more than three resources, to support an argument so you can have an actual conversation with someone. Now, if you disagree, you disagree. I mean, live to disagree or agree. But the bottom line is that if you are dealing with what seems like ignorant people, and these ignorant people, and I'm talking about that's on the job, within your family, people who refuse to get better with their thinking, with their critical thinking, or with just relative information that goes beyond conspiracies or anything else. Find people that you could actually have a conversation with, that you're not always arguing with, unless you're that person that just like to argue. And I find that to be so relative. I mean, so potent on on these social media sites. But anyway, again, I just want to reflect. Oh my goodness, the 16 minutes went way over. But like I said before in the video one, you're dealing with what seems like uncertainty, instability, failure, inadequacy, abandonment, weakness, disconnection. Hey, you can do better. You can put yourself in a space to where you can correct, because the only thing you can control is yourself and your mind and everything else that goes with it. This part two of the video, it talks about rejection, humiliation, disrespect, ignorance, and powerlessness. And I say this is all about other things that we ourselves can control. If you need help with certain things, if you're really dealing with depression and anxiety to the point to where it's crippling, I need you to contact um, your hospital, your doctor, to be able to get some advice when it comes to mental health therapy. Okay, and with that said, I'm sorry I went over. May God bless you and keep you. Say your prayers. That's the reason why I have praying hands on this podcast. And whether you close your hands, you open your hands, I tend to pray with my hands open so I can receive. But that's just what it is. That's my thinking for me. I say go humbly to where your source of belief is and ask for peace and blessings. And with that being said, peace and blessings to you always. Until next time, have a good one. Bye.